And then eventually we ended up leaving. I went to my AIT, which was in Jama 15 Tango. And 15 Tango is I'm a Black Hawk mechanic. And my unit was a 244 over here on 169.
Yeah, just up the road.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, my AIT is in Fort Eustis, Virginia, and that's like the main helicopter school. Like all the Apache mechanics, Chinook mechanics, Blackhawk mechanics are all there. Plus, like the weapons teams, people who learn how to put weapons on the helicopters, maintain them, and stuff like that. I think they're like 15 whiskey or something like that. And then you have all the sheet metal MOS, and then you have like the powertrain, which they're like 15 deltas or something like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool going to Fort Eustis. It's like just a small hole in the wall base out over there on like Quantico Bay. Like you have the FBI on one side of the bay, and then you have Fort Eustis on the other side of the bay. So it was pretty cool being in that area.
That is neat. So how was Virginia? Was it would you
Oh my
recommend
gosh.
it, or would you say
So whenever we got there, like I said, I graduated basic training at March 18th, but I didn't leave until like April something, like April 18th or something. Something like I was there for about a month, 4 weeks, and when I finally went there, it was still kind of like a cool spring, you know. It would rain on us pretty much every freaking day. I remember doing push-ups, doing PT one morning, and I was doing push-ups in a puddle, like I would go down and my head would be underwater. Like I was like, this sucks. And my 15 Tango is a 15-week AIT, so now that's after you get classed. So because of COVID, you had to do 6 feet all around. So like all the classes were reduced down to like 12 soldiers per class, and it was pretty intense. 15 anything that's 15 series is very high. Like it's a high end, very high demanding. Oh, it's not as physically demanding as like infantry, but it's a very prestigious MOS. Like they put a lot of emphasis. Our sergeants, when in my class, told me that, you know, as a 15 Tango, if you screw something up, right? So say you put on a bolt and you don't do the safety stuff that you need to, like you put like safety wire on there, and like there's like on a critical bolt or something like that that keeps the bird that keeps the bird flying. If there's like 3 or 4 safeties on that single bolt, like typically it's got a paw on it, where it's a bolt that has it's a bolt that you stick through, and it has, I don't even know, it's like a spring, but it's got like a paw that sticks out that you can't pull it back out. Then it's also got a washer on there, and then you safety it too. They told us all kinds of crazy stories. But if you fail to do those things and comes out that it was because you failed, I mean, you could be liable. You could face prison time if that bird crashes and kills the pilots and stuff like that. So they told us it was very serious from the very beginning. So
absolutely, as well it should be.
Yeah.
So for Chad and myself here, we've never been to AIT. We have no kind of working knowledge. So we are what's known as 09 Sierras, which means we went into basic training with officer contracts ready to go, assuming we can pass officer candidate school.
Yeah.
So it was basic training back home to the pre-OCS environment, now into the OCS environment. So what is AIT like? Is it like basic training where you live under the scrutiny of the drill sergeants at all times and they'll murder you, or is it a little bit more relaxed? Is it a little bit more?
So it's a little bit more relaxed. Like they definitely take a little bit hands off. Now whenever I went through, a couple of years before, they made the transition that they wanted drill sergeants in part of AIT. So we had drill sergeants again at AIT, and they were all former 15 Tangos that were part of my AIT, and they were all pretty cool. One of them was a former 160th, which is the Special Forces Aviation branch, and
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty intense. I had a couple of friends that they got selected to go to 160th, and it was pretty cool. Like they had a lot of cool stories. Um, it's not as intense as basic training because you're soldiers, and when you come soldiers, there's a little bit more prestige with it, I guess. Like right. But it's definitely still a training environment, so you still get treated like shit or crap, you know. So I was part of Charlie Company, which is they're all the tangos, and like Charlie Company, everybody knows who Charlie Company is. Like because when you're a Black Hawk mechanic, it translates well in the civilian world because one, your tango school actually counts towards your AMP license because you're turbo certified, which I don't even know what all that means, but you work on jet engines that are the same engines that that the Apaches and stuff use. So you can work on you can work on the smaller civilian side helicopters and stuff easier than say like a Chinook mechanic. Like their engines are huge, crazy huge, and the 15 uniforms. Their MOS is an extra 2 weeks because of all the stuff they have to work on. So theirs is like 17 weeks long. But yeah, Charlie Company had a reputation there at Eustis. So it was pretty funny. Like before we got there, there was no female tangos at all there. They were all in Delta Company, and that's because it was like a year or so before they had the female tangos there, and the drill sergeants caught one of the trainees transporting a female up to the male barracks with one of their green bags or whatever. I don't the barracks bags. The girl hid in the barracks bag, set it next to the CQ desk, and then they would come down and pick her up or whatever.
That's
and
insane.
The drill sergeant, he was like, "What's this bag doing here?" And kicks it, and it's a girl there. She's like, "Ow!" That's the story that was told.
So okay, that's amazing. So yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of kids who try to sneak, and because they're 18-year-old kids, they're trying to hook up and do all this stuff at basic training, which is it's really dumb. You put your career in jeopardy doing that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But for people who don't understand. So you think you go to basic training and you become a soldier. That is not the case. So you are officially done with the basic training portion of your soldier. Nobody considers you a soldier until you complete your AIT if you're on the enlisted side. So on the enlisted side, you're not really a soldier until you get your AIT certification, and AIT stands for Advanced Individual Training. So you get your basic training and you get your beret, you get your uniform and all that. And then you go to AIT and you get your advanced individual training certification, which could be infantry. So you could get your infantry certification. You could get your 15 Tango, which is your helicopter repairman or mechanic, excuse me.
Yeah, Black Hawk mechanic, yeah.
But or it could be like a 68 whiskey, which is like a medic. You go get your medic certification. So you're not. For all those kids who think I went to basic training, I'm a soldier now. That you are the Milli Vanilli of soldiers at that point, and everyone considers you that too. So
you don't really get officially become a soldier until you get assigned to your unit and you officially get your unit patch and all that fun stuff.
So Ivy, I guess the question is, did you enjoy being a 15 Tango?
Oh yeah, like I said, the tangos and the uniforms, those two MOSs right there. That allows you to be a crew chief for a helicopter. So at my unit, before I went to OCS, they wanted me to be a flying crew chief, and I was like, well, I've already signed up for OCS, but heck yeah, I want to do that. Like, so the decision by the time they asked me to do that, the decision was made that I was going to OCS. So it's kind of like a gut punch, because like whenever I showed up, I was assigned to Delta Company, which is the maintenance. That was our maintenance company at my unit. And Charlie Company is the unit. That's the pilots and the crew chiefs company in my battalion, and they were like, yeah, we want you to be like a crew chief. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I've already decided I was going to go to OCS, and I told them that, and I was like, oh, well, crap. Okay.